meeting for the Township of South Algonquin for Wednesday, August the 5th, 2020 at 9 o'clock. Are there any, I do roll call first, just to make sure I know who's online. So Councillor Collins is no. Councillor Florent?
I'm here.
And Councillor Harper?
Here.
Councillor Bongo?
Here.
Councillor Shala?
Here.
Councillor Vermeer? So Joey's not on yet. Okay.
Here.
2020 at 9 o'clock. Are there any, I do roll call. Should I go ahead, Holly?
Sorry, did you hear that? It just, when it brings up YouTube, it voices it back. So I'm sorry if that interruption, I was trying to get it before it happened, but yes, you're good to go ahead now. Sorry about that.
All right. Are there any additions or amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll call.
I have actually one, sorry, I'm behind the ball here today. I'm just going to share my screen to get the agenda up. I just have one. We need about amendment to the procedural bylaw regarding the Municipal Act changes that happened, and I'll do that within my meeting, or sorry, within my report, and we'll have to set up a new meeting to talk about that, a special meeting in a couple of weeks. So yes, just amend the agenda for procedural bylaw changes. Okay,
thank you for that, Holly. So with that amendment, I would move by Councillor Vermeer and seconded by Councillor Florent. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adopts the agenda as circulated and amended for the regular council meeting of August 5th, 2020. Councillor Florent?
Yes.
Councillor Harper?
For.
Councillor Bongo?
For.
Councillor Shala?
Yes.
Councillor Vermeer?
Yes.
It's carried. Thank you. With the business before us this morning, does any member of council wish to disclose a pecuniary interest? None noted. We do not have any petitions, delegations, or presentations at this meeting today. So the next business item number 6, minutes of the previous meeting. To adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of July 8th, 2020. I have that moved by Councillor Shala, seconded by Councillor Florent. Be resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the regular council meeting of July 8th, 2020 as circulated. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I would call the vote. Councillor Florent?
For.
Councillor Harper?
For.
Councillor Bongo?
For.
Councillor Shala?
Yes.
Councillor Vermeer?
Yes.
It's carried. Thank you. So we're at committee staff or council reports. Do any members of council have any committee meetings that they need to report on? Hearing none. So we would go to staff reports. And the first report we have is from our, sorry, let me get to that point. Is from Fire Chief. Is Don on the line? No, all right.
He's not on the line, but he is in my office. So if there is something that someone needs to speak to him about, I can go get him.
Does any member of council?
Good morning. I am with you now verbally. I can
Okay,
hear you and I can see you. But
okay, thank you, Sandra. So we're at the committee reports, just so you can catch up with us. Are there any questions in regards to the fire department report of July 2020? Hearing none. All right.
I have a question. I found out, obviously Ian told me, but the rest of the firefighters know too, that Don has made some changes with regards to personnel. And I didn't know if council were privy to all of that information. The fact is they've deleted a deputy from Madawaska and made him a captain. And I wondered if this had happened down in Whitney too, or whether or not that ought to have been sanctioned via council.
Don, did you wish to respond to that?
I'll just go get him. Just one second.
Okay.
chiefs were switched to captains due to the restructuring.
Okay. Maybe just ask for her to re-ask the question.
Okay. Is the mic on?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us, Dawn. Councillor Collins has a question. I would ask her to repeat that to yourself, please. Thank you, Sandra.
Good morning, Don.
Morning.
Very quick question. I understand that you've dropped the role of deputy at least at Madawaska Hall, and reverted that personnel to captain. Has that happened across the board? We were not aware of that. It just sort of happened out of the blue as far as we were concerned as
That's
council.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, so due to the restructuring, obviously, once I was assigned as a fire chief, and prior to me taking the position, you had 2 fire chiefs and 2 deputy chiefs. So the 2 fire chiefs, their title was switched to district chief, and the 2 deputy chiefs were switched to captains. So at each station now, there's a district chief, which would be John and Orel. And then there's captains. I believe there's 4 captains at Madawaska, and there's 3 captain positions at Whitney now. So it was just a change in the title.
So have you given them new job descriptions? Have you rewritten the job descriptions? Because obviously the
So-
deputies took on specific roles.
Yeah, so no, their roles have not changed, just the title has changed. The reason being that in the fire service, a deputy chief would typically be a higher rank than a district chief. And so because the district chiefs are in charge of the stations, we couldn't leave the 2 firefighters that had the title of deputy chief with that title of deputy chief. So they were kind of reduced in rank to captain. And I spoke with each of those members personally before we made that change. And they had been aware that the change was coming. They knew as soon as I was hired that there was going to have to be a change to the titles of some of the members. So they were all aware it was coming, but I didn't make any changes until I was able to speak with each of the members personally and explain the changes. And so everything's been changed now, and they have new helmets that correspond with their rank.
Okay.
What
Any
I was specifically asking was, have they got new job descriptions? Because
No.
the role of the district chief, obviously, is that encompassing the job description that the deputy used to take on? Or have you asked those specific captains to take on the role of deputy? It's a personnel issue, where be it they've signed up with a certain job description, and obviously that job description now doesn't fit the bill.
So
I was just asking if you were going to put out new job descriptions for them.
So short answer is no. So basically with the changes, the 2 gentlemen, so John and Orel, that had the title of fire chief at each hall, they were just responsible for their hall, and that has not changed. So their role has not changed. Their title has changed. They went from fire chief to district chief, and they are still responsible for their station, each one of them. The officers under them, which included the deputy chiefs, their roles have not changed either. Just their title has changed. So they went from deputy chief to captain, but they still have their same roles. Nobody's role changed in any way. It was just the title changed to better reflect the current situation of the fire service here in South Algonquin Township.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments or questions to the chief?
I have a quick question.
Councillor Bongo? Go
Um,
ahead.
If about a week and a half ago, I had a resident who noticed what looked to be somebody in distress on the lake. on Galeri Lake. Luckily, everything was fine. It was just somebody with a stand-up paddle board who didn't have their life jacket, and they were just kind of fooling around on it. Kind of looked like they were in distress, but luckily they weren't. But it did get me thinking, in the event that there is a boating emergency on the lake, do I tell the resident to call just simply 911? And then Renfrew County will deal with that because we don't have the training or equipment to actually go onto the water. Is that correct?
That is correct, Counselor. Yes, it would be a 911 call. And
Okay.
then I would think it would be the OPP
Okay.
would deal with that. But you are correct. We're not equipped or trained to deal with
Okay.
those types of situations. So it's still a 911 call, but I would think it would be the OPP would deal with that.
Okay, super.
Any other questions to Don?
I have one, Mayor.
Councillor Sala?
I'm just wondering about the stages in the fire department. I thought there were captains before. Now, does that mean we have an additional captain? And if the deputy chief prior was paid more than a captain before, how has something changed there, or is there going to be basically two different, one additional wage, or one person getting some readjustment? That just seems to me like, well, I just don't understand it, that's all.
So yes, there were captains prior to. At this point, as I believe I mentioned during the last council meeting, I have not looked at the fire department remuneration. That is something that I'm going to look at either in the fall or early next year. So at this point, there has been no changes to how the firefighters are reimbursed for their time. Going forward, there will be some changes due to the change in the rank structure, but I did not want to make any changes this year. Obviously coming in as the new chief, I didn't want to upset the apple cart before I had a amount of time under my belt. So to answer your question, there has been no changes to the pay, but the rank structure itself had changed a little bit.
So basically you have two people ranked the same, but they're different wages.
Right now, yes.
Okay.
And that's, if I may comment, it is a process of reorganization of personnel, and that certainly takes time, and it takes reviewing the situation. So I think you've got a good handle on it, Don, and certainly look forward to the reorganization chart when it is completed in all aspects.
Yes.
Any
I
other-
don't have I don't have a time frame for that just yet, but yes, that is definitely something that will be addressed.
All right. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none. Thank you very much, Don. Okay. All right, Holly, we are into your report if you're ready to do that.
Yeah, so it's a pretty short report this month. The admin information is there. We are open and things are going well at the office. We're selling lots of marriage certificates, so that's interesting. Jen's back and she's right now folding tax bills, so that's well underway. Dave and I have been working back and forth with Northern Rural Net regarding the fiber optic line down Galeri Lake Road. Council had asked us to look into the possibility of more than just the resort being able to use that line, and the answer back to us was no. So I need a little bit of guidance from council on whether or not whether or not council is going to allow this agreement to go forward, knowing that it's only helping that one business. Does anyone have any comment on that?
Holly, do you know if the business has received a grant for this?
I don't know that.
How is this like? How is this happening?
Dave, are you on, do you have any information on that?
I'm not aware of any grant that they've received. My understanding is they were funding it themselves.
Oh, Couples Resort is funded. Okay, all right. Okay, I don't have any other questions. Does any other member of council have any questions?
Yes, Councilor Harper here, Mayor Dumas.
Go ahead.
Holly, did they give a reason why other individuals can't tap into that line?
I think it's an infrastructure situation, Dave. Like they would have to, I don't really know much about fiber optics, but I think that they would have to know when they're putting the line in, where they would splice it and where it comes out of the ground. I think it's just more complicated, and really the intention of what they're trying to do is just service that one property. I guess I'm just looking for council to let us know if, I mean, I can continue to work with them to try to put an agreement in place. It looks like I'm gonna have to find an agreement. I just want to know that if staff puts the time into, coming out with something, that council will consider it, is what I'm looking for.
Thank you, Holly.
Holly, it was explained
I make
to
a
me.
comment?
Just Sandra
Sorry.
Collins, and then I don't know who the second person was.
Councillor Florent.
Okay, go ahead, Sandra.
It was explained to me that every time they splice into the fibre line, it's like taking a runoff of something like the 400, and they can only cut in at strategic points. So yes, they are cutting into the fibre line and extending down to the couples, but that doesn't mean that everyone else can sort of link in. That's how it was explained to me. I also don't understand fully, but that analogy seemed to help me in my mind. It was like, as I say, taking a branch, if you like, off of the 400 and going directly. So obviously not everybody can tap into that, and it's a direct route straight to the couples. So does that answer your question, Dave, why other people can't benefit from it?
Yeah, I don't quite understand the system, Sandra. Paradise Road has fairly good fiber optics internet. Why can't other people in town get it too? Especially when they're going to run a line right past their door. That's my question. So I don't know.
Yeah, it was explained to me that you can't just keep cutting into that fiber optic. It can only be done at strategic points.
Okay.
Thank you. Councillor Florent, go ahead.
I just want to comment that if the request can be accommodated without any cost to the township, and I'm including staff's time to prepare a report, which costs money, I think that we should be compensated for any cost at all, every cost. Even if it's a day's delay in paving or something like that, we have to be prepared to be compensated for that, because it's going to cost us. And it shouldn't cost the taxpayer any money to provide a service to a private business.
I agree with that comment, and I also think that it should be expedited to happen while that road work is going on at this point in time. We're not going to pave and put down a sidewalk and then have to disturb it to put this fiber optic line in. So personally, I think the response should go back to the company that we want this done as this project on that roadway is being done. And I would hope that the rest of council would be in agreement to that.
I agree, Jim.
I agree.
What happens down the road when there's an issue, whether it be a dig up the township is required to do, or it's a break in the system that requires maintenance to, if it is under a walking pad and not the roadway, who's going to cover all this? I think you need a pretty substantial agreement. And is there time to do all this? Because Dave, the work superintendent, talked about earlier, shortly after, well, sometime this week, starting to put a surface on it. Now it appears from his, well, we'll read it in his report here, when it's anticipated. So if there's any delays, and is there time to get an agreement together? I guess something we should be thinking about.
Holly, are you getting the sense of the direction from council? I think it's quite explicit, and I think that we want, if this is going to happen, it's to happen at no cost to the township during installation and definitely during maintenance as well. All costs, we anything that has to be done, if there is a need to go in after it has been installed, is at the expense of the owner if it is Couples Resort, because you're saying the financing, apparently they're financing themselves. So I personally as well would want very explicit language in there as to maintenance in the future and as to the installation at this point in time.
Okay. Go back with that.
Yeah, and if you need us to, if you want council to meet with them or whatever, let us know, and we could certainly set up a meeting as well if that was, if you thought that would be beneficial. Any other feedback on that then from council?
Are there any other businesses along that roadway that would benefit from this if they were able to tap in? I'm not familiar with the area as much. I've been to the Couples Resort, but I don't know if there's any other businesses along there.
Longo,
No.
Longo has a business along there.
Ah,
It
No,
really,
they've said
it
that
would-
there's no opportunity for anyone else to tie in. The line is going directly from Highway 60 to the resort. There's no option for any residents or businesses to tie into this line.
so our main concern is just to make sure that this line goes in prior to the paving being done. That's what we're looking at.
And
And
on,
a
go ahead.
fulsome agreement, I think, is the
Okay.
issue. Getting an agreement that is clear that we're not responsible and
Okay.
future liability is theirs.
I suggested when this was first discussed, I believe, that they investigate whether it could be installed underwater.
Yeah, we went back with that and they didn't think that they could do it.
your audio is gone again, Richie. Very difficult to understand.
Okay, so go ahead then, Holly, for the next items.
Okay. So the community safety wellbeing plan is back in motion, I guess. We had the CAO clerks had a meeting last week, and we're starting to put out, as of the 5th of September, the survey. One of the things that we acknowledged in that meeting was that COVID has really highlighted some of the gaps in service. And so we've actually decided to go back to our service providers with a little survey to say, what did we learn during COVID? So I think, we learned some things about DSAB and other things that will help inform that program. So we'll look forward to that September survey. What we did decide was that we would put the survey out the same throughout the 4 municipalities. So I had intended to send it much like a newsletter, but the other municipalities don't feel that they have the resources to do that. So what we'll be doing is putting it out electronically. We'll put information in our fall newsletter, giving people direction where to go, and then we'll have hard copies available for people as well. So the intention is just to get an understanding of, social services and other services that the community is aware of, or things that are missing, or their perspective of those services, as well as an understanding of, I guess, of the perception of it. So that's coming in September. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Holly, I do have a quick question. We did have included in our package this month the progress report from the Killaloe detachment, and they certainly speak to the community safety plans, et cetera. Is the community safety officer sitting at your table during this discussion from the OPP?
Yes. So as a service provider, they are. So they were, you remember, they were at the meeting in Barry's Day.
Yes.
We've been
Okay.
going back
All
and
right.
forth with them. And just as an aside, we did have the four members of our CPAC group did get together during COVID to talk a little bit about bylaw enforcement and those things. So yeah, we've been corresponding very well with the OPP as of late. So, yeah.
Great, thank you. Go ahead.
So we have been getting some requests for our community centers, including some just weekly, as I think I've reported before, the pickleball has been ongoing in Whitney, and the curling is hoping to get up and going again in Madawaska. I've created a policy around use of facilities, including cleaning procedures and rental procedures. Part of this is going to be those who wishing to rent the facilities, providing us with a physical distancing and cleanliness plan, I guess. So what I hope to do is work with those that are planning to do the curling, just to test our policy. I'm just going to give it to them like they're just a normal person coming to rent the facility, and ask them to fill out the information, and that'll be like the first run through to make sure that what we're asking for is logical. So hopefully we'll get that this week. Does anybody have any comments or suggestions on that? Okay. I did take part in the connectivity webinar yesterday. Did anybody else get in on that? No. So the takeaway from that essentially was the funding that's coming is coming to municipalities that are what they call shovel ready. So I think a little bit further in our agenda, there's a item that talks about maybe creating a plan for broadband. So I'll leave that conversation for that time. As I said, the tax billing is being processed is being processed right now. We've also talked a little bit about waste and what's happening. There's some issues happening throughout the township. So I think we'll, during Dave's report, set a meeting for asset and waste management. And as I said, I have a meeting with Infrastructure Ontario on September 10th to talk about the Lyle landfill. The other item that I wanted to add to the agenda is the changing of the procedural bylaw. So for those of you who have been following it or haven't been following it, sorry, the provincial government has changed the Municipal Act. So you'll remember back in March, they changed it so that we could do these online meetings during an emergency. And at our last meeting, we passed a resolution to support that going forward. And then the very next day, through Bill 197, provided for municipalities to be able to continue electronic meetings. What that means is we have to hold a special meeting prior to our September meeting to outline in our procedural bylaw the things that we want to change or how we want that to work. I have a bunch of information that I'm going to send in a package, but my advice, or the advice that I've kind of received from those that are doing it around us, is that it's very difficult to do a hybrid of this. So right now, Zoom is working because, we're all in different places. And I don't know if you heard when I opened the door, you can hear the feedback of my computer to Dave's computer. So this Zoom works only when we're not in the same room, which means it's going to be difficult to do a hybrid of this. I know that there's members of council that want to come and members that don't. So we need to have a bit of a discussion and get some direction on what the changes in the procedural bylaw should look like and what we're going to do going forward. So does anybody have any comments on that at this point or questions?
I have a comment. For those of you on unlimited internet access, I guess it's not a problem, but for us that are not, last month I went over my limit. So it cost, I'm not saying it's all because of the Zoom meetings, but we had 2 Zoom meetings, and it certainly did contribute to me going over my limit. So it's going to cost me substantially more money.
Can I speak to that for a moment? Joe, it might be helpful that I have complained to Bell Canada a few times regarding overage fees on my internet, and they have reimbursed me both times.
Was that right?
But you have to complain, squeaky wheel, and I can forward you a number to call.
Okay, but I won't get the bill for August until almost the end of,
Yeah,
or I won't get the bill for July until almost the end of August.
yeah. Every time I make the call, and I keep complaining all the time on the overage fees.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Councillor Vermeer. Holly, I have a comment. If we're going to be looking at the procedural bylaw in regards to the holding of meetings, the other thing that is in our package is this proxy voting, and I would really appreciate it if we could add that to the agenda at that time to talk about it, because I have concerns based on what I received in my package.
You have concerns about implementing proxy voting?
Based on what I've read in the package, yes, I do. I don't really understand it, to be quite honest with you. And I just thought an opportunity for us around the table to speak about it would be beneficial.
Okay.
I have experience with proxy voting with the Ontario Archers Association, but it's slightly different than council, because in that case, everybody that's a member has a vote. So anybody that doesn't go to the meeting passes on their proxy to people that are attending the meeting. In our case, it's only within a 7-person council. So I wouldn't anticipate the abuse that I see in the other situation.
Okay, thank you for that feedback. It's nice to have someone that's had experience with it in some sort, so. But, okay, so thank you. And Holly, just, you missed, or maybe you were going to go back about the renting out of the Lester Smith building?
Yeah, I think that that's actually not going to happen now. So it was Hydro that, I don't know if you recall, last year they came in and rented the facility, and they really just used it for storage and then parked their vehicles in our snowmobile parking area there. But I think that their plans may have changed. If they haven't changed, I think we'll try to accommodate them. It's a bit of revenue, and it's the same people, and the risk is fairly low. But at this time, it's not happening.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing that we would have to manage around that is the rental of the facility to make sure that there's only one group in there at a time. So if they come back, we'll discuss that.
All right, thank you very much.
So I just want to be clear. So I'm going to provide a package and a staff report. And I think other municipalities have, so the way that the Bill 197 is written, it says that we have to have a special meeting to decide whether or not we're going to allow these e-meetings to continue. So other municipalities are having it immediately before their council meeting. I would like to not do that, just because it's difficult for staff. If it doesn't go through, then we're going to need to come up with the solution of how we're going to do public portion of a meeting while in the chambers. So I'm hoping to have a special meeting the Wednesday, which is August 19th, if everyone is in agreement with that. So what that would mean would be I would give you a staff report and a recommendation by the 12th, and then we would have that meeting on the 19th. Is everybody in agreement with that?
I'll do, Sandra, does that work for you, that date?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Joe, Florent?
I think so.
Okay,
I know my wife has an appointment in Ottawa that week, but I think it's on the Monday.
okay. Dave Harper, is that all right with you?
No problem, Jim.
Councillor Bongo?
Already in my calendar. That's 9 a.m. on August 19.
That's right.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Shala
That's okay.
and Councillor Vermeer?
At present, no conflicts.
All right, and myself as well, Holly, so we're good to go with that.
It should be a short meeting. We'll just do the required public advertising, and then we'll just go forward from there. So thank you. And that's all I have for my report. Does anyone have any questions or anything I didn't cover?
I have a couple of questions, Holly. The first one is regarding the library, with the curbside pickup. I note that some of the libraries around us are reopening to the public, and I'm wondering if that's in the process for us.
I mean, that would be, I can ask the board that. To be honest, our board is in flux right now. Our chair has stepped down, and I think they, at their July meeting, decided that they weren't going to meet again until September. So I would anticipate that the curbside pickup will be ongoing until they meet again in September.
Okay, and the other question was that I note that Kellogg, Haggerty and Richards for their committee meetings are meeting in person in chambers because they can do enough spacing to do that. I'm just noting that other councils around us are slowly returning to normal and hope that we are too.
Yeah, so I guess that we talked about that a bit this morning. So the minimum for us is 10 people realistically, because we have 7 counselors and generally 3 staff that are at every meeting. So physically we would have a hard time fitting 10 people with 2 meters between them in the chambers. And although we could do that, the issue then becomes, how do you make it a public meeting? So that means that we need to invest in the OWL system or some type of taping system to be able to put it out onto YouTube. We can do that. I know that there are members of council who are uncomfortable with how much time they're spending in the public and the potential of passing COVID along to other members of council. So I'm not sure what the answer to that is. Does any other member of council? Go ahead.
Seeing that there hasn't been a new case in Renfrew County in 3 months, I'm not too worried.
Well, I'm somewhat cautious with the number of people that are in the community on weekends now, but I think that for that meeting, we should probably do it by Zoom.
Yeah, I do look forward to this meeting when we do talk about this in more depth, but you know, in my day-to-day life, I do run a tourism operation, and although I'm following all of the health precautions, I am coming into distance contact with people on a daily basis. So I consider myself a little bit more high risk than perhaps other members of council, and that's my main concern with regards to returning to meeting in person again. Lots of logistics that we would have to consider, including if we're supposed to wear masks, if we're indoors at a chambers meeting or whatnot. But anyways, I do look forward to the meeting when we talk about that in more depth.
Thank you, Councillor Bongo. Anything else? Oh, go ahead.
Just I imagine that we will talk about this in more depth the next time when we do talk about the waste management calendar. But I did have somebody ask me if they should anticipate any changes to the rules with regards to trailers, residents bringing in trailers to the disposal site. I don't know if the township is looking at any fees for trailers or not.
And that we could put forward to Holly and in Dave's report. It's probably something you're looking at.
Okay.
I've been approached on exactly the same subject.
And is it perceived change, or is it misunderstanding of the current bylaw?
Either one of those two.
I think that there's some that we've had some confusion, I guess, about people doing construction work and bringing in construction type material, driving their contractor's truck so that they don't have to pay the fees associated and that kind of thing. So we are doing the modernization assessment this year, and it was pretty clear to me that there's probably some changes that need to happen with waste collection. We all know that we're the only municipality kind of left that lets as much waste come in for free as we do. So I would say the answer to the public would be that, yeah, we probably do need to do some changes regarding our waste collection. Obviously, that's not my decision. That's a decision that council has to make, but it's probably through this modernization staff. It's probably true that staff is going to recommend that we start being a little bit more careful about what we're bringing in.
Mhm. Okay, well, I look forward to the report and to the assessment.
Any other questions of Holly? All right, thank you, everyone. So we have Dave's report for the Works Department.
Yeah, I'll just start by giving you an update on the outdoor privy cleaning. They've been used regularly. No major problems reported, other than a bit of vandalism that's occurring at JR Booth location. Not quite sure what's going on, but anyway, it's not major, but it seems to be consistent. So I'd imagine it's a single individual.
Is it to the playground or to the bathrooms or just general?
It's a misuse of the bathroom.
Okay,
I think I'm going to put it out there because it's disgusting and I think the public should know what we're dealing with. Someone is defecating on the floor at the JR Booth playground outhouse every day. And I think at some point council probably needs to decide that it's not worth staff health and safety to have to manage that every day, and that maybe we have to close that outhouse.
that certainly is disgusting.
There's two.
So we'll maybe see if it continues for another few weeks, but if I would suggest that I don't think it's fair that staff have to manage that. And maybe a loss of service might change it.
Who was that? Was that you, Sandra?
Yes, it is. Sorry, my feed is fading a weeny bit. Can I suggest that we actually put a CCTV camera up looking at the doors to that privy? And then at least we will be able to time and let people know that we're doing that because of misuse.
We could. They'll probably vandalize the camera.
Not if it's high enough, they won't.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Not if the camera is put high enough. People have got to physically get ladders, etc., etc. It's just something that I think that the actual individual person should be penalised and not the rest of the community for this.
Okay.
Can we look at that possibility?
We can, yep.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Dave, please.
Yep. Okay. The next matter is we had a resignation of a part-time employee who was the attendant from the Madawaska site. He had a better opportunity elsewhere. It was, he gave us a little bit of notice. We were able to cover the position temporarily with a seasonal employee, a rink attendant that has fit in quite well in the interim, but we'll have to advertise that job kind of coming out of the summer here. The changeover has been okay. We're not, I think the employee's doing a good job in the interim. Just also wanted to let you know, we installed a culvert and restored that entrance on Allen Lake that washed out from the Beaver Dam. We were only able to get a 600 millimeter diameter culvert in that entrance. We did protect it with armor stone and cloth, and hopefully that it's going to withstand an overflow situation in the future, but it could be that, you know, it's not sufficient, but anyway, it will be better than what we had before. Rain came and we were able to finish calcium application in the township, and the rain has kept coming ever since. So not a lot of issues with dust at the moment, but we're back to potholes. And just while I'm on that, the grader is back out today, getting the worst of the damage from the rainfall. So they're in Whitney, they're heading to Sabine, and then they're heading to Allen Lake tomorrow. And then we'll probably carry on with a full round of grading. Going to be required. And just wanted to give everyone an update on the unauthorized drainage work that was occurring. We did extend the opportunity to put in an entrance permit for a culvert extension right up front to the person that was doing the work, and they, I guess, didn't accept this option and indicated that they would only like to speak with us in writing on the advice of their lawyer. We received a lawyer's letter and we have responded back with the Municipal Act. Our lawyer reinforcing that it's municipal jurisdiction. We haven't heard anything from them since the last letter went out to them. I mean, he did actually fill in an application for a culvert extension, and we said they can extend the existing culvert and move the head walls over, which would have given them another 8 feet on their driveway. But we just can't accept filling in the majority of the ditch. Something like that would have to be engineered drainage from a professional engineer. The issue would be that if they did that, this lot is 5 feet below the existing road. So to fill in the ditch, the water's going to go over the pipe and right onto their lawn and into their house.
Excuse me?
Yep.
Dave, I visited that site, as you know, and it was never the intention for them to widen their driveway. And you know that as well as I know that, and the owner knows that. So giving them a permit to widen their driveway is not really what they were asking for there at all. I think we should discuss this at a scheduled meeting and maybe in camera. Like I've heard your side of it. I've heard the property owner's side of it. And really, to me, the property owner is making a lot of sense in what he wants to do there. We've directed water onto his property at the upper end with no consultation at all, as far as I am aware. The guy just wants to improve his property and it's 100% at his cost. He's willing to do all of that. Apparently his wife is some kind of a drafting engineer, so I'm sure she's aware of the problems with drainage. I really don't see this the way that you're seeing it.
Well, the ditch was existing. Nothing has changed since that subdivision was built. The only thing that occurred in 2013 was the culvert was replaced in the existing location.
Dave, there is no ditch there on the upper side of the driveway at all. We just directed the water onto his property.
There's a ditch there. Absolutely, there's a ditch there.
No, I visited the site, Dave. I have pictures on my camera. There's no ditch.
I think that this is a matter that needs to go to the full of council at a meeting. I think personal discussions are not appropriate at this time. So I would suggest that maybe we can couple meetings together to discuss this. Dave is the work superintendent. It's his job to look at these things. And I understand your comments, Councillor Florent, but I think we don't need to have that discussion at this council meeting. I think it's better.
I agree.
Handled.
I agree.
Pardon?
I agree. It should be at an asset management meeting, but we haven't had one for like 3 months. So
That's fine. It's not an urgent situation, and
I think it is. If you talk to that property owner, he thinks it's pretty urgent. He's got an open eyesore right in front of his house because he has a stop work order when he was half finished.
Thank you for your opinion, and we will book a meeting. Dave, if you could get back to us when you have an opportunity to look at your calendar, that would be good. Thank you.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, comment on that.
Could it wait till the meeting, Richard? Is it
Uh,
relevant?
It can wait to a meeting.
Good, thank you.
However, I know this gentleman. He casually has told me he discussed this 2 years ago. He came to me looking for a contractor 2 years ago. I gave him a name. The guy was supposed to be in our community and he didn't show up. Last year, the same guy was going to do work there. He came and he looked at the job, and whatever happened, he didn't show up. But according from the information I have, my neighbor, he just lives 2 houses down, discussed this with Dave 2 years ago. There was an agreement. he purchased the material, he was going ahead, and then there was a stop order. And I guess all I'm getting at is, I think we owe it to the resident to have this meeting in a timely manner so that there's enough opportunity. If he's going to get the work done, to get it done this year. He's got the half of the material laying in his front yard, the culverts.
Thank you, Richard. I think we have determined that there will be a meeting. And I hope.
My question is, Mayor, my question is, how soon will the meeting be?
I've just asked Dave to look at his calendar and to get back with us with some suggested dates.
Well, if we're meeting on August the 19th, possibly we could look at it at the same time.
That's what I was thinking, Richard.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Thank
And
you
I
very
hope
much.
I hope there's as much support for staff at that meeting and comments and conversation as there have been for the individual with the concerns as well. Thank you, Dave. Go ahead.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor, I take exception to that comment. I am responsible to the taxpayers of this township. I'm not responsible to staff.
Thank you for that comment, Councillor Florent. We'll
And
go
I'd like to
forward.
make one
My job
comment.
is not to provide jobs.
Call the order, the meeting.
I
to
would
order.
like to make a comment. When we did the work on the street, I raised at council at that time that we were draining the water off of the road from 3 properties, basically north of that, and taking the water onto that gentleman's property. And
Thank you, Richard, and you will have the opportunity to
I
express that.
certainly will.
Thank you very much. Okay, Dave, go ahead.
Right. The new tandem plow truck is at Winslow Drolemy, still getting fitted with the required equipment, and they're anticipating that it should be available the week of August 16th. The road work on Clear Lake, Paradise, and Park Street is progressing well. We're anticipating to be finished with the drainage improvements probably mid next week, and then begin pulverizing and gravel, and hopefully heading to pave either just before Labor Day or somewhere around there. And the tender's been reissued for the Clear Lake Park privy replacement, and it's closing on August 20th.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Anything else? Anything else, Dave?
No, that's all I have.
Any other questions from council to Dave?
I have 2. Dave, I'm wondering what date you anticipate extending or completing or constructing that winter parking area at Hay Lake?
Divine, yeah, we were, as soon as we're done with the machine on the road work in town, it's going to start going out to some of the work on the outlying areas that needs to be done. We are, yeah, that's where we're going to head is out that parking lot and some other culvert replacements we have planned in the country.
Okay, thank you very much. One other is, I'm not sure when you check the sun shelter, rain shelter, whatever at Gillary Memorial Park, but I think it needs, you have to look at it, and it certainly needs some serious work.
The roof is starting to look pretty shabby on it.
It's not just what it looks like, it's what, the whole thing is gonna rot down. It's leaking like a basket. There was
Is that a
like
capital
3 tables.
project for next year, Richard? Is
Pardon?
that a capital project for next year?
Well, I don't know. It's embarrassing driving by there on Sunday and seeing those tables all covered in water, and I get out and looked at it, and there's actually a 1-inch strip full end of the roof on the top with no ridge cap, and to be quite honest, when it was constructed, I believe they only used like a show shingle, cedar shake, a shingle rather than a shake, and they it all looked good from a distance, but you could see right up through some of the boards immediately after it was constructed, and there was no building paper under the shingles, but it's deteriorated, and it's embarrassing.
So it sounds, I think it's, thank you for that, Richard. And I think it sounds like it's a bigger project than just tapping it onto the work schedule for the summer. So perhaps an evaluation of the whole thing to see if it's worth salvaging and maybe some other changes. So thank you for that.
I think, okay.
Might be-
Anything
might be,
else?
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Who's speaking now, please?
Sorry, it's Dave here.
Okay, Dave, go
Suggesting
ahead.
that, maybe our CBO should have a look at it and see what he thinks of the structure.
One other comment, the brushing or lawn mowing looked good. The guy did an excellent job, I thought. I don't know who was doing it, but anyway, it looked good.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, if I could just say one thing.
Joe Vermeer, go ahead.
Dave, I just wanted to know if the guys had a chance to come and look at Shields Road, and is there any thing on the books to have that addressed over?
Yeah, I have spoke to them. So when we get out of these road jobs, we're going to be addressing a number of things in the country, and we will get in there and see what we can do. The grader's heading back to Allen Lake tomorrow, and he's going to be on the north Allen Lake Road.
Great, thank you.
It's Councillor Collins here. I've got a question
Go
for
ahead.
Dave. Can we please, at some stage with Waste Management, have a look at the scheduling for our businesses? I do not believe we are serving our businesses when the need is must. I've had several complaints coming in from the businesses in my area about collection and how 2 collections, one on a Tuesday and a Thursday, just isn't of any use to them whatsoever. And they're asking if they can have their Sunday collection put back. And I've explained that it's a bigger picture, but can we just bring that back to a waste management meeting, please, to have another look at it?
Okay. It should be included with our asset management meeting that we're going to set. We have actually been going out. The collection truck was out last Sunday and serviced those businesses. So it is, when they get busy in the summertime, they are missing that collection they used to get on Sundays. For sure, we need to address it.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Sandra. Any other questions or comments today?
Mayor?
Councillor Bongo?
Yep. Am I allowed to ask any more questions about the unauthorized drainage, or any other questions would just be referred to August 19th?
I think that would be the best, if you don't mind. Thank
It's
you.
okay. Just wanted to ask.
Great, thank you. Anybody, anything else?
I think we wanted to set a date for an asset management waste meeting. So is the 23rd of September fit into everyone's schedule?
I
23rd
think
of
it's way too late. We got to address this sooner rather than later.
What's that?
The asset management.
What specifically?
Well, the drainage for one thing.
I think we were talking about it on August 19th, were we not?
Yes, that's what I thought.
No, the suggestion was that to have an asset management meeting on the 19th.
Oh. So
The meeting on the 19th is to deal with the procedural bylaw and the meeting, the conduction of meetings, correct?
yes.
That's what, yes.
And I thought that we would
We would
do one item, which would be the drainage, because it seemed as though that was a specific issue that needed to be moved forward quickly.
I believe that's what I requested.
That's what I heard as well.
Well, there's no sense having a meeting after the problem has solved itself regarding the summer garbage pickup.
Staff have indicated that they are wanting to look at the whole, it sounds like they are dialoguing with the businesses. And what they're doing now is assisting so that we look at the big picture and come up with another plan or another recommendation from staff for collection. So again, just to reiterate, we would do 2 items at the meeting on, what was it, August 19th? Holly, that's correct, and that's dealing with the procedural bylaw.
And the drainage issue.
Yeah, okay. So that's agreeable that we go forward with those 2 items on the 19th of August. Okay. All right. So we are at item 8.
Are we
Pardon?
setting, we can set a committee meeting for the 23rd of September?
For a regular asset
for
management
asset
meeting.
management and waste?
That works for me if it's okay with the chair, Councillor Florent.
Yes.
Okay, Thank you.
I would at this time, I would also like to put on the agenda for that meeting, a discussion on the parking lot at Allen Lake. Obviously, there's some major problems there, and maybe we should investigate whether there's any remedies or not.
All right. So you'll have opportunity, Dave heard that, and you have opportunity to add items to the agenda if you wish. All right, so we're at item number 8 in the agenda, business arising from the minutes.
Actually, I was going to ask about the drainage problems at this point because it was in the report from Dave's last meeting, but we've already discussed everything, so.
Okay,
I have
thank you.
nothing.
All right, anyone else? So any unfinished business? We didn't have any.
Mayor Dumas, I think unfinished business, maybe new business. I'm not sure where this falls, but I have been spoken. There is a member of the constituency where I am actually called me several times and is very, very concerned about the Algonquin land claim. Evidently, there are large parcels of land that were not in the original land claim that are now being claimed. And I don't know where we should be discussing this or bringing this up. I don't know whether or not we should have an update from the Algonquins as the reason why they're changing the initial plan, or the reason that they've now asking to acquire other large lots of land, which are affecting the value of real estate, etc., in our township. And I'm not sure where we should be discussing this, but I think it needs to be addressed or at least looked at.
So from our perspective, the Algonquin land claim is involving the federal government and the provincial government, and we have a representative that represents the municipalities at that table. And we have been knocking on that door quite loudly several times through Holly's 2 letters to this individual, as that we need an update. And I agree with you entirely. And I think Holly has once again, since this information has become available in our community, that we need to have feedback from our municipal representatives that are representing municipalities in the land claim area. So we certainly will urgently continue to say we need to hear what's going on and what's changing. And as we all know, this is a negotiation process. It's not a closed, it's not a closed process at this point in time. But I agree entirely that we should be kept up to speed. All municipalities that are affected should be kept up to speed. So we certainly have, as I say, Holly has already reached out, and we will keep making that contact until we get information. Holly, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I reached out again yesterday. I have been, since 2017, I have asked on a regular basis for our representative or the negotiator or someone. They had set up times and then canceled them. So I again reached out yesterday. So to two individuals. One was the individual who was responsible for sending the residents letters. So my response was, now you've sent letters to our residents. Those residents are contacting our counselors, and our counselors have no idea what's going on, as well as our municipal rep. So I will continue to do that, but I would encourage those of you who are being contacted by the by landowners to encourage them to write letters back in response and keep copies of those letters, because I think that this consultation that's happening is supposed to be open and public, and it's proving very difficult for us as council to get information. So I think that I would encourage them to put things in writing, and we'll keep trying. And maybe members of council should do the same. I'm sending emails, I'm keeping copies of them, but it doesn't seem like we're getting very much information at all.
Can I just sort of add that the person who contacted me regarding the very large parcel of land that has been, as far as he was concerned with the letter, the MNR sent the letter saying that this parcel of land is being claimed. He was concerned that there are recreational trails all the way through this parcel of land and this property. And obviously that will impact on our tourism and the well-being of the municipality if this land then becomes private land, which it seems that the Algonquins have laid claim to it, and it's been accepted by the MNR to give this Crown land over. I really think we need to be looking. People that have purchased land saying that it's surrounded by Crown have paid a far higher price for that than if it was surrounded by private land. So things have changed with regards to the value of real estate, and this will actually obviously impact on us as a municipality.
Sandra, I find it unusual you're mentioning MNRF. They should not be sending out letters in regards to the land claim. So I don't know if you've seen the letters. Perhaps
No, they are.
Oh, from MNRF?
The MNRF is sending letters. They were the contact. The individual that has contacted me is a division of the MNR.
Oh, that's interesting. That seems like a change in process, but perhaps I'm wrong. Okay. Anyway, I think if if your constituents are coming to you, then if you could get the contact. Holly, you have the MNRF contact then, do you? Holly? Holly, are you there?
Everything just changed on my screen here.
Okay.
Yes, I do, and that's who I've requested.
So maybe if members of council that have had contact from your people in your ward, if you wanted that address, then I think we should all send letters to them. This is not right. This is not the way the process is supposed to be unfolding. So.
If I can make a comment, Mayor?
Go ahead, Lauren.
This parcel of land that we're talking about is from the individual that told me. Now, I haven't seen the map yet. I'm supposed to drop off at his place and get a copy of the map, but it's approximately 1,000 acres or a little more in Lyle Township. The individual that he came to talk to me yesterday as well as Sandra, and he tells me that when he tried to contact Minister Yakabuski, that Minister Yakabuski told him he was in conflict of interest and couldn't talk to him.
Interesting. I think this council has represented both the community and the relationship with the Algonquins right from the beginning when we sat at the table, and the members of the negotiating team for the Algonquins sat at the table with us and went through every parcel of land that they were looking at. And it was a respectful and very informative process for both the council and for the members representing the Algonquins of Ontario. History of areas that they were looking at was shared, and it was a fulsome conversation. And it would be my wish that we would have that same conversation again if there is an extension within our municipality of additions to the land claims. So we can certainly give that feedback and make that offer to be at the table and to look at these parcels of land with them. Okay, anything else?
If I can, I just want to expand a little bit on what Councillor Florence said about the minister being in conflict of interest. So that is because he is the Minister of Natural Resources. He cannot deal directly with items that his ministry is managing in his riding. So that doesn't mean that what that means is you should be letting the public know they should be contacting his constituency office, not him directly. So that doesn't mean that his office can't speak on our behalf. It means that he as an individual can't be involved. So they need to contact his constituency office on those matters.
Thank you for the clarification.
That's good. Thank you. Yes. Okay, anything further on that? All right. In correspondence and in information items, I don't know if there was anything anyone wanted to comment on. I thought the report from the Killaloe detachment was very informative and gave a snapshot of the occurrences that are happening within our municipality as far as services that the OPP are providing and programs that they are working with. And I don't know if anyone else had any comments, but I thought it was a very good report and appreciated it. Is there any new business?
Mayor Dumas, Councillor Harper. I'd like to bring up I'd like to bring up a point here. I brought it up a couple times in the past, and it's regards to our boat launch ramp in Gallery Lake and its use as an access point to Algonquin Park. July was just unbelievable. The number of people that utilize that piece of property. We don't receive any remuneration from the government for the maintenance of that property. We're in the process of purchasing new privies, cutting grass, maintaining the dock, and we don't get any money from the parks for doing this. Maybe we could discuss something as maybe an agreement to get some money and cover our costs for doing that stuff for their access point. And this could be discussed at the access management meeting.
Certainly, Councillor Harper, if that's agreeable with the chair, and I imagine it is, that can be an agenda item at the Asset Management Committee meeting. If that's
Thank you.
agreeable with you, Councillor Florent?
Yes, of course.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks, Dave. Okay, we have motions of council, and I think we have one motion here for, let me find my spot, sorry. Okay, no, that's payment of accounts, so there's no motions of council. And Holly, the notice of motion is in regards to your proposal about the broadband improvement plan. Did you want to elaborate any further?
I think that there are a few members of council that are interested in this. Do either of you want to speak on behalf, or do you want me to summarize it?
Mayor, if I could, regarding the motions of council, you said there was no motions, but when you look through their correspondence, there was a motion that I meant to bring forward or think about or discuss at our last meeting regarding the correspondence and resolutions that were sent on from other townships. And I'm not sure if this is exactly where I should be bringing it up, but I think it would fit in there because it certainly doesn't fit in anywhere in the following one. So when it's regarding the Northern, the Ontario or Federation of Northern Ontario municipalities, they agree that DSAB shouldn't be or would not be the best solution for overseeing the Ontario, Northern Ontario OPP detachments. And I agree with them, and I'm not sure whether.
Okay, so Richard, I just want to clarify because you're kind of staticky. So what you're suggesting is in the separate package that we've provided of other people's resolutions that have been passed,
Yes.
there's one in there that you're interested in supporting?
Yes, the one, I believe it's
So what we're asking for
page
council.
16 of 20. Page
Yes.
16 of 20.
Okay,
Richard,
so
if-
what we're asking for council to do in those cases, if there's something in that package that you want to support, if you can let us know prior to the meeting, then we can include it as
Okay.
we can print it. So if there's one in there that you want, if you can just let Carla know prior to September, we'll support it. And that's been happening kind of all along. You've seen others that have come in through that way, the gun registry one and some others. If council just says, yes, this is one that I want on the table, then we add it. So if you can just do that for September, that would be great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Very good. All right. We don't have any bylaws and we don't have any need to go into closed session.
I just
So-
wanted to
Oh,
just go
so-
back to this notice of motion so that everyone understands. So does anyone else want to speak to it, or do you want me just to kind of give an introduction?
Yes, go ahead, Holly, if you don't mind.
Okay,
please.
so essentially what I learned yesterday in that conference call and what we saw, there was a summary in our package in the for the last meeting that talked about different ways that small municipalities can get ready to support broadband. The reality is there are 444 municipalities in this province, and every one of them, I shouldn't say that, probably 2/3 of them are looking for broadband. So us continuing to say to Bell or whoever that we need broadband here is not going to answer our questions. So I think that we need to come up with a plan and probably put some money in a reserve and be ready when the funding is available. So I think that's what the motion will be, is to include some funding in the 2021 budget to get serious about broadband, and maybe go back to EORN and say we have a little bit of money or we have a plan. I think knowing where our weak points are and where some towers or what infrastructure we actually need would go a long way to making us seem like we're at least trying to be shovel ready. So that's kind of what that proposal is, and we can talk about it. We'll put a motion on the table and you guys can talk about it in the September meeting.
Okay,
Could I just add one more point?
go ahead, Councillor Clark.
The Ministry of Education announced last week that the high school students are going to be 50% in class and 50% on net for the next year anyway. For any of our high school students that are not on unlimited internet, it's going to be a severe hardship.
I agree.
If
I
I could
agree.
comment also.
Go ahead, Councillor Shala.
Yes, we're a small municipality, as you're well aware. And we're part of Northern Ontario, and there's still parts of Ontario that never bought into the amalgamation process. And they're similar to what part of this township was 20 years ago. So, and the government's going to cover those properties, and they're going to cover Native communities. And I feel in Northern Ontario, we really don't have the tax base to offer up a lot of tax dollars towards such. And I think a lot of this should come directly from the province. And that's what we should be pushing for. Because who, like I said, who is going to provide it in other parts of Ontario that still have local roads board, et cetera. So, and they need, as Councillor Florin mentioned, students across our province, and especially Northern Ontario, they're going to require internet and affordable internet. And I think that's the route we should be going. I don't know how
I think that that's a decision that council needs to make, Councillor Shala. If we're going to put our hands up and say we need broadband just like the other 2/3 of the province, then we're probably going to be in the same situation in 10 years. As we've done in the past, if we step forward and put some kind of we saw it with Allen Lake. We did a little bit of legwork and we got some money from it. If we maybe do a little bit of legwork with broadband and show that council has some skin in this game and we are serious and we really believe that this is an economic development push point, then maybe we'll be more successful at getting some funding. But I think standing here with our hand up saying we need broadband is just like everyone else is doing. Look around the province, everybody needs broadband.
I agree.
And Richard, I agree with you too, but I think, as Holly said, I think it's imperative that we know what our needs are to be able to state them emphatically. And the fact that our children in elementary school are serviced by 2 different school boards. We're a northern community. I think we have a lot of leverage here, but we've got to have it on paper so we can all give the same message out there. And it's not that we want to provide the money to dig the lines or put up the towers, but we want to very clearly identify the huge gap that we have in this township.
I agree.
Okay,
Can I just add to that? There are 3 large companies at the moment launching satellites. I think satellite communications and satellite internet is going to be up and running long before we can get a broadband service into the rural area. I do honestly believe that they are the way forward for rural Ontario.
And I think that's another point that we put in there, Sandra, in my mind. It's what's the best way for us to get service. We're not going to be able to tunnel through the granite of South Algonquin to put lines in the ground. So I think even that message consistently put out by council and our staff is we know what our concerns are and what we need here. And I think that's what Holly's looking forward to committing, with some money put forward for staff time and just for messaging or getting our message out there. So I think we will come up with something, and we've certainly got members of council all of them, all of us that are very, know this is important to our children in our communities. So we will go for,
Absolutely.
we will go forward.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Anything else on that? All right, so we don't have, as I indicated, we do not need to go into closed session. So we're at item 17, payment of accounts. And I have that moved by Councillor Bongo and seconded by Councillor Harper. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin authorizes the payment of the bills as recorded for the meeting of August 5th, 2020, batch number 2020-00038 in the amount of $215,412.04. Calling the vote, Councillor Collins,
4.
Councillor Florent,
Or
Councillor Harper,
4.
Councillor Bongo,
4.
Councillor Shala,
Yes.
Councillor Vermeer.
Or,
Okay, it's carried. And the last resolution, it is the adjournment of the meeting. I have it moved by Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Shala. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adjourns the regular meeting of August 5th at, I don't have a time on mine right here.
10:22.
10:22. Thank you very much. All in favor, Councillor Collins,
4.
Councillor Florent,
or
Councillor Harper,
4.
Councillor Bongo,
4.
Councillor Shala,
Yes.
Councillor Vermeer.
or,
All right, that is the end of the meeting. And just to look forward to the meeting on the 19th of August, right? We will get information from staff. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day.